Okay, it's time to build the offshore kayak. Now, the original plan was to build a completely separate rig, just totally standalone with all components, motor mount, everything, just so it makes it easier if I wake up and I decide I want to go offshore. This one's all ready to go, I just load it up. Or if I'm going to do some flats fishing, I'll just grab the blue one and it's already rigged up. Problem happened though is that the cross members for the front and back are out of stock at Hobie, and they're working right now trying to figure out how long it's going to take. So I figured I'd just screw it. I'm going to go back to which I originally planned to do, was to just take off the cross members and put it on which either kayak that I was going to take that day. It's basically eight bolts, so it's not like a huge deal, but convenience wise, easier is always better. But what are you gonna do? So what I think I'll do is I'll basically just move over everything that I'm using that day. So it's going to be the cross members, my motor mount, which I was going to build another motor mount for this one, but now I don't have to. Plus I added these plates on here because the board was wearing through where the outboard clamped on it, but I added these plates on it, so it's fine. And then a couple of these little knobs here where the outrigger triangulates to and bolts back. But other than that, I won't really have to do much. But there's some basic stuff that I still need to add, which are rod holders, which I'm going to basically, I've got new rod holders for this one, but it's going to be the same ones. I'm going to be in the same location, so not that big of a deal. Also, I've got a new transducer that I'm going to add because my old one was just, the connections were all gone on it. And I have to figure out where I'm going to place it on this kayak. I could mount it in the same location I've got this one, but I kind of miss the ability to have that side pocket. It's nice having both of them when I started using this one. So I think I might mount it on the front. However, the original plan was when you if you're doing a conversion and you don't want the sailing part of it, the front, you could buy two back bars, which are just plain bars, that's it, and use them on the front back, and it still works fine for the outriggers. You just don't have that front piece where the mast would go into. It's half the price on that front one, so it's kind of why not. And then plus, because that front piece was gone, that's kind of where I was going to put a mount and a Scotty mount, and then have my fish finder off of that. But since I have to use that cross member, I can't do that, so I got to figure something out, at least temporarily, until those bars come in. So we'll have to figure something out for my fish finder mount, and then where I'm going to run the plugs and stuff for. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. So it's not going to be a really high-tech alteration. I know this setup works for offshore, so why change it? So these are the front cross members. These are the mount. It's basically two Allen head bolts. And then these kayaks are designed for that full rig system, so they've got the inserts already pre-molded into it. So it's just a matter of unbolting those and bolting those on there. I've got an electric screwdriver, so it'll probably take all of 2 or 3 minutes to convert them both. Same thing for the back. They just go right here. I'll take these side straps off. This is that mount I was talking about. This is where the my sail would normally go, and that runs up out of there. But with this kayak, I wasn't going to be ever using the sail. It's just going to be motor only. So I was going to use the back mount, which is just a bar, plain bar that goes across, which doesn't have that. And I was going to have that on the front. So if you imagine just that being gone, then I could put a mount right here in the center, a Scotty mount, and then probably run an extension up and then have the fish finder here out of the way of the pedals if I use those. Or I could angle it and then just have it off to the side like that. So that would be my original way, but I can't do that because this is here. I can't do that because this clamps are in the way. This is how I release the outriggers, so I can't cover those up, so we're kind of screwed there. The prior owner had a fish finder, I'm assuming here. This hole was bigger, that's where the lines would run through, so I might temporarily use something similar to that, or possibly just go right here on the cover and do what I was expecting to do. I just gotta see once I put the bars on here how much room I'll have. But otherwise, that's all we really have to change. Oh yeah, I do have a new seat to replace this low back because it's very uncomfortable. So I got a little bit of a higher back. Plus I have a seat pad that I'm gonna do. I just run a cushion and just throw it on there when I go out and take it off, throw it in my car. So I've got a bigger cushion. I'll do the same thing, just cut it out so it fits perfectly. And I'll probably use that on both kayaks, but that's my other issue that I'll be working on. So that's what I'm going to be working on, and I'll let you check it out once it's done, and then we could take it out for a test drive and see how it works and see if I have to do any modifications. All right, so here's the stuff that I bought for it. This is the new kayak seat there. You can see it's quite a bit taller there, so that'll be a little bit more comfortable. Just looking at it, I might just leave that seat there, just add that on top of it, and then that'll give me some raised platform to keep off of there. It gets my back up. And then these straps tend to wear and break pretty quickly, so if I have two of them, they might last a little bit longer. So I might just do that. Otherwise, I got one of these fitness pads for doing step-ups. I'm gonna see, hopefully it cuts okay, but then I'll trim it down to kind of fit the seat pad area there. Got my two rocket launchers, basically same setup as what I've got there, so those will go on. I picked up backing plates, hoping that they would fit underneath here, but they're too wide, so I might either not use them or just cut them up and use them as the underneath individually. Then new transducer. You can see this big bad boy. It's a 5200, so it's a very narrow field but very powerful, so it's made for deep water conditions, so finding wrecks and deep fishing stuff. So that's the transducer I'll add. I'll use the battery box out of this one since I won't run the fish finder on this one, and then I'll just transfer that box and the power cable over to this one. That's it. Good to go. All right, I think we're done as much as I can do or need to do at the moment. Get us on the water. Built a little holder for the large rudder because it doesn't have a way to stay up when in transport, so just did a little homemade jobber there. Mounted the seats. I left the original one, which was at low back, and just mounted my tall back on top of it. That right there might be enough to give me some enough cushion there where I don't need to use this pad, but I'll try it out and see what happens. Then if I need to, I'll just trim this out so it fits there, and I'll use them in both kayaks. I went ahead and just transferred the motor mounts over to with the cross members there, and like I figured, it was just basically two bolts, move it over, two bolts, and that was done. Same thing with the front there, just two bolts there, and good to go. Rod holders were horrible, but I was able to use the backing plates, so that's good. They're in there secure. Yeah, horrible. This thing has a little well built into it. I had to die grind that off from the inside because I was having problems with clearance with this going right in there, as well as having clearance problems from that backing plate. But got that done, so those are solidly mounted. Same issue here with the up rudder line and then the down rudder line. I had to kind of make a hard angle there and trim off the plastic runner that goes with it. Horrible. Just got this in today, which is my plug. My old plug is pretty much nasty. Only reason why it works is it's full of mud and sand and scales and stuff because the pins are gone, but I just kind of hold it in there with weight. But went ahead and splurged, got a new one there. Plastic welded the holes from the prior owner's fish finder there, so I just got those. I don't want anything close to the water line, so I just plugged those. I still have to figure out where I'm going to put the the fish finder. I want to strap it right here. When I get the new bars, they won't have this section there, so it'll just be the bar across, and then I could put one of my Pat R Scotty mounts right here, and then I could run an arm with the fish finder, so it's just basically right around here or something like that. but I can't do that yet until I get the correct front arm here. I do have the transducer mounted, so it's all ready to go there. That big old fat boy there, so that's good to go. My battery box is still in this one. It's loose, so I just take it out. I just wanted to figure out where I was going to put everything, but for now I just might run the cables either just right out of the cover just to plug them in here, or I might just drill a hole right here and then run the cables straight here and be able to just move them to wherever I want to. I might even just hold the fish finder in my hand because I don't really use it that much, just when I'm out in a certain spot, and lay it down, and when I'm running take it off and put it away. But yeah, we are done, so we can take this bad boy out and give it a test drive. All right, 2 changes. I learned that the seat they sent me was wrong, so I had to send it back, so I have to stick with this old one for now. But I did get my fish finder rig set up how I'm going to have it. I just took my mount that came with the fish finder, glued it to that little base there, so that's on solid. And then I drilled a hole and used one of my through fittings for the cables, and we're good to go. Got the battery box, and I'm gonna make this a wet well, so I just have to pour water in it when I use it. But that'll be the rig, so that'll be set up until I get the bars in, and then a new seat will be coming. But otherwise we're good to go. All right, I think we're all set. I'm not ready to say I'm finished, but I would say we're functional. So I think after a couple of test drives, make sure everything works, I'm not forgetting anything, then next weather window, maybe head out to the reef and possibly out to do some blue water stuff. Haven't done that in probably a year now, especially since I moved to the Middle Keys. Wanted to focus on the inshore stuff, learn the new lay of the land, learn the new techniques, get really functional at it, find the bait, get my systems in place, and so I'm real comfortable that regardless of what wind, what weather conditions and so forth, I know I have a spot where I can go to catch fish, and I'm pretty comfortable in that now. Still got a few more islands to hit, but in general, I think I'm pretty well comfortable with the Middle Keys. So with this new kayak, that'll get me to kind of be able to mix in some more offshore and reef stuff, kind of get things varied up a bit. And I think they're pretty popular videos when I do the blue water stuff, and the kind of helpful tips and trick videos especially for fishing the reef and that kind of stuff, because a lot of people come down here to do that. So be able to get that more involved in my videos. But otherwise, I just want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. Is it really necessary to have a second kayak just for offshore? No, but thank you to my Patreon supporters wanting to make the channel better, keep me safe. I'm able to do that with their contributions, so thank you guys very much. But otherwise, thank you for watching. My next video will have that red kayak out on the water and giving it a test drive. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye.